Dumisani Mazibuko is the proud owner of a bed and breakfast in Soweto. During the 2 weeks of the Confed Cup, he played host to 8 American soccer fans. While the tourists enjoyed their stay, Dumisani says he learnt a few valuable lessons during what has been seen as the dry run for 2010.
When people come here, sometimes they need transport, which I didn't have. That's why on my business plan, I've got it that I need to run a shuttle, a bus system so that I can be able to help my clients. And secondly is, I've got 4 bedrooms, but they are not all en suite, which at some stage, it was inconvenience for them.
Mazibuko says his B&B business is looking up, one level up.
It's not adequate, the accommodation I've got here. So I've got plans now, which are already approved by our municipality, to build additional 3 rooms, which will be on top of the rooms which I've got here.
Across the train tracks, the team at the popular Labels Backpackers in Soweto is also gearing up for 2010.
We still have an overflow, which is good. We still use other homestays or guest houses. But we find that people want to stay here. If they say, I want to go to Levels, I want to stay at Levels. So we are forced somehow to expand.
With limited space, Lebo has come up with an innovative yet simple game plan to ensure he can accommodate everyone.
Especially on our campsite, where we're going to be having caravans. So we have bookings on caravans already. And it shows that, really people are just coming here to have fun. They're not really looking for, big, construction houses. I don't even have to go that far, to construct, to get people coming here for the World Cup. So people are just going to be simple. They want a good time. And it's just nice for us just to give them a simple African experience.
At the other end of the market is Neil Fraser, Sales and Marketing Director of the Southern Sun Group. In his 30 years in the business, he said this was the busiest of times.
Yeah, Confederations Cup, we had, as I say, mainly officials, but about 9,000 room nights on Confederations Cup, 15 million odd rands worth of revenue. And then on the Lions side, combined revenue for teams and supporters was about 45 million rand, 27,000 room nights. So a really significant piece of business.
But a reality check shows that even with these back-to-back tours, South Africa had to deal with just 10% of the targeted 450,000 football fans set to descend on the country.
24-hour availability of management. These tournaments don't stop. The players come back late, they leave early, there are problems in the night, there are late check-ins, there are lots of changes. So you've got to be prepared for that. I mentioned translators. You're dealing with different people and they haven't got a clue. They can't speak English. You've got to be able to deal with your guests across all the language barriers. And then I think on the British Lions side, the sheer volumes, your preparation, your stock getting availability, your service areas, just being able to cope with literally thousands of people queuing up in bars, creating extra space, turning conference space into bar areas. It's all of those, so many learnings. But the biggest thing is to take those learnings and to put them into the planning phase for the year building up to World Cup, or the 9 months or 10 months that we've got to do it.
South Africa's accommodation was sufficient for the Confed Cup, but match needs 55,000 units for 2010, and it's still short 15,000. There is enough accommodation, but local service providers have been accused of not coming to the party.
They're anticipating that they can make more money by going on their own, which means they want to advertise on their own, they want to market on their own, and they want to basically target the visitors on their own. Match's function is to protect the 2010 visitor, to protect the FIFA brand, to protect the football fan, and the rates I set are reasonable rates. There's an annual escalation of 16%.
Match, which has been involved in football World Cups since Mexico in 1986, says experience shows that escalating prices beyond what's reasonable not only does damage to the event, but the country's tourism industry.
What damage does that do on the industry? What image or message does that send out to the world about the tourism industry in South Africa? So we equally, as much as an obligation we have to FIFA as the official accommodation provider, we've got to ensure that we're working with the tourism entities to ensure that we protect the long-term legacy around that. The reality is that you hear of the exceptions. Majority of people that are coming here for 2010, they're going to be coming for a longer period. They're not going to be paying escalated prices. People can't afford to pay 10 times, 20 times the cost of that room.
Certainly is an amount of greed, and we've seen it before. We've seen it at the Athens Olympics in 2004. If you overcharge visitors, not only will they not come back, but the word of mouth will deter a lot of people that would have come otherwise.
And back in Soweto, Mazibuko has had inquiries for 2010 from America and Holland, but as an affiliate of Match, these rooms are entrusted to FIFA. He hopes the rooms will be occupied for the duration of 2010 to get his piece of the World Cup pie. But overall, the Confed Cup was a good indication of how he can ensure his B&B is up to scratch for next year.
Really, it was an eye-opener, and I think it prepared us. It's helped us to prepare better for the 2010. And then come 2010, we know exactly what we're going to do.
Well, overall, this was a successful dress rehearsal for the World Cup. No doubt, there's still some areas that need special attention. Let's hope that with just over 300 days till kickoff, the country will have enough time to iron out all the creases before the barrage of foreign football fans arrive on South African soil.